Good evening. There are explosive new allegations in the Sydney Swans scandal, with a lawyer for the women involved claiming there were more men in the hotel room than just the 5 players.
The club and coach are denying the allegation, as the woman at the centre of the police investigation says she's fighting for justice.
Captain and coach, no uniforms, no logos, no sponsors, but plenty of apologies.
We take full responsibility and we are deeply sorry.
To those women involved, I hope everyone is getting the support they need.
Revealing extreme frustration with the 5 stood-down players: Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner, Riley Bice, James Jordan, Nick Blakey.
My position is that I fully support the sanctions that have been handed down by the club.
We are extremely disappointed at the actions of the players.
They denied there was a split, but wouldn't say whether the 5 would ever be welcomed back.
Have you spoken to them, Callum?
Yes, I have.
And how was that conversation?
Extremely hard. Extremely hard.
How are they going?
Like people would expect.
It was the most difficult press conference of their lives, with the CEO and key squad members supporting.
It's been a really hard week for everyone. We're not shying away from that.
But as they attempted to make amends, more bombshell allegations in Melbourne.
Behaviours that are simply disgusting and not acceptable in this day and age. And I was simply horrified.
The lawyer for 2 of the 3 strippers involved revealing his clients had agreed to some touching, but one player had gone too far.
I can't go into detail, however the line was crossed.
I can't comment on what a lawyer says about something.
He also alleged there were 9 in the room, not 5.
My understanding is there were various officials in the room.
That's a police investigation, so all that will be brought out in due course.
Dean, can you confirm that you were not in that room that night?
I wasn't in the room.
The club backing him instantly. The Sydney Swans can confirm the only representatives were the 5 players. Reports to the contrary are simply false. The reality is the saga is far from over.
The woman at the centre of the scandal has now spoken out publicly for the first time, saying she now considers this a fight for women's justice and she intends to keep going, while her father has now also spoken exclusively to 7 News, revealing another twist to the events on Monday morning.
He claims his daughter suffered an asthma attack in the room as she was performing and was furious with the lack of help.
It was lack of response to a medical episode that triggered the event. No assistance provided or care given.
Denying she was chasing a payout.
She's a strong thing in many ways, but she's very vulnerable now.
Anger too from a dad who grabbed a fan photo in the foyer that morning, his 5-year-old daughter with Isaac Heaney. I'm furious that my children were put anywhere near this situation. But from the Swans women's team today,
the best way that we can support us in this moment is get to the game on Sunday and hopefully break a record crowd.
Revealing they've had none, though, from the so-called Pullman 5, not a call.
No, they haven't.
As for talk of a boycott this Sunday, from one superfan,
that is disgraceful. You come, win, lose or draw, no matter what's happened.
Chris Reason, 7 News.
The alleged victims are now planning to take legal action. Let's go live to Christy Mayer. And Christy, you spoke with the women's lawyer today. What is the plan from here?
Mike, lawyers for 2 of the alleged victims are now preparing to sue both the players involved and the club, claiming the women have experienced psychological injuries, pain, suffering and economic loss. They plan to lodge a civil suit in the Supreme Court. This case will be separate from the criminal investigation now underway into the sexual assault allegations, which is being run by police. The lawyers say this isn't about money. Their clients are traumatised and humiliated and want justice. Mike?
Christy, thank you. The father of Geelong AFL star Tanner Bruhn has been filmed barking like a dog in his underwear, allegedly while admitting he owes money to bikies.
Woof. Woof. Keep barking. Woof. Woof. Your name is what? What's your name?
Matt Bruhn.
Matt Bruhn.
Woof.
Who do you owe money?
Yaz.
From where?
Hells Angels.
51-year-old bankrupt tradie Matthew Bruhn denies the claims and says the video was just a joke made with friends. Victoria Police has confirmed they're investigating.
There's a major police operation underway in Melbourne's east where a woman's body has been found inside a home. Georgia Bennett Murphy is at the scene in Ferntree Gully. Georgia Police have a man in custody.
They do, Karina. Police arrested the 45-year-old man after a woman was found with fatal injuries inside the home behind me here on Ferntree Gully Road this morning. Now, forensics are still on the scene now. This is still very much an active crime scene. Police and emergency services were originally called here at around 10 a.m. this morning, but sadly, despite their best efforts to revive her, the woman was declared dead at the scene. 7 News understands a young family lives at the home. Detectives believe the man and the woman are known to each other. Karina.
Georgia Bennett-Murphy in Ferntree Gully, thank you.
Relatives of a missing man shot and dumped in the back of a ute in Melbourne's northwest are resigned to the fact he's probably dead.
Speaking through tears at the search scene, the family say they just need answers.
Somewhere out here is Khaled Malas, missing, feared dead.
Khaled was a beautiful man. He did not deserve what happened to him.
The victim's family and friends came to Wildwood today begging police for answers. They know the father of 3 was shot and probably dumped nearby. Police just haven't found him yet. Khaled's wife recently gave birth to their 3rd child.
Could you tell us how she is?
Very bad. Very bad. Yeah, she's still waiting for 2 days now and nothing.
2 nights ago, he and 2 others went to the Wildwood property to collect a debt.
He's going to ask him when he's going to give him his money.
And were the 2 people that were with him just there to help him?
No, one of them need money from him as well.
Around midnight, he was shot and police suspect loaded into this ute. The shooter made at least 2 stops in 5 hours, arrested when he came home and still in custody.
Khaled, he got to ask for his right. Then he killed him. Could you believe that?
The search has expanded to a tip in Sunbury. Detectives looking for the gun too. Police have spent most of this morning focusing on this creek, but it's too deep and fast moving for divers or their boat to search it. With every passing hour, hope of finding the father alive fades.
He's dead, he's not dead, we want to know.
The one man with answers isn't saying. Jacqueline Stanley, 7 News.
Federal police have charged a Victorian man accusing him of spying on Ukraine's military to help Russia's invading forces.
Detectives are tonight trying to work out how far the espionage plot stretches.
Federal police in Brisbane arrest a suspect in an operation they call Woodcreeper and charge him with foreign interference.
A number of electronic devices and various items relevant to the investigation were seized.
The accused, 27-year-old Russian-born Australian citizen Vladimir Teslov, Victorian resident but arrested in southwest Brisbane, accused of travelling to Russia 2 years ago for military training, later travelling to Ukraine to join its armed forces, then seeking to provide Russia with details of Ukrainian military operations.
In Australia, it is alleged the man maintained contact with individuals he believed were connected to Russian intelligence services.
I'm very impressed by the work of the AFP.
Immediate praise from Ukraine for federal police who began work on the case in June. Intelligence agency ASIO had carriage of the case prior to that.
Australia, along with all other democratic countries, is a target for the Russian intelligence.
Teslov did not appear nor apply for bail as his matter went to Brisbane's Magistrates Court this afternoon, his lawyer saying little.
Is your client a Russian spy? Was he working for Russian intelligence from Australia?
Since 2020, federal police and ASIO have charged 8 individuals now with espionage or foreign interference.
This is about a very distant war happening in Europe, but with the offence happening right here at home.
Federal police say if the accused is convicted, he could face up to 20 years in prison. Tim Lester, 7 News.
Anthony Albanese has finally admitted his appearance on a podcast where he made controversial comments about Kylie Minogue and the Japanese Prime Minister was a mistake. But he's refused to apologise for the melons comments and gestures that sparked outrage.
She brought 2.
If I had my time again, which you don't, then I wouldn't have done that podcast. Clearly, that was an error.
The opposition says he's only gone halfway and needs to say sorry to Japan's leader.
A new suburb has been approved for Melbourne's west. There's room for 12,000 homes and half a dozen schools, but painfully slow infrastructure plans are leaving some residents behind.
This is Melbourne's newest suburb on Melton's eastern fringe. It's the fastest growing corner of the country, but not without growing pains. The new pocket, 32 kilometres from the city, will eventually have 12,000 new homes along the freeway, plus 4 government primary and 1 high school.
It's a very good thing. We need more housing, but we also need the infrastructure to support these new residents, new families.
Out here it goes paddock to cranes very quickly. Not so fast, jobs growth. Almost 3/4 of Melton residents leave the west to get to work.
The congestion on the road is massive every morning and every night.
Melton's new hospital should help. Once open, it'll create almost 4,000 jobs.
This is unlocking a new community in Melbourne's growing west, and it's going to be thousands of homes for families.
Train stations are being built out in the west. This is the new one at Melton. But the promised electrification of the rail line keeps getting pushed back, and it's now not due until sometime in the 2030s. That means sharing trains with Ballarat and Geelong running on a slower, smaller schedule.
Building and approving the largest number of homes in the nation. Last year it was 55,000 new homes.
That's still below the goal for a 10-year average. This year's election, a chance to shore up promises.
So it's a real opportunity, but we have to get it right.
Blake Johnson, 7 News.
Tragedy has struck a caravan park in Melbourne's north where a man has died in an early morning blaze. Firefighters were called to the Campbellfield site around 4:30 a.m, finding a cabin engulfed in flames. A man's body was found inside, but he's yet to be formally identified. Investigators are still working to determine exactly what caused the fire.
Donald Trump has threatened an economic D-Day is looming for Iran as the Middle East war threatens to escalate once more. Washington says it will impose the toughest sanctions in history to collapse Iran's government. That announcement was mocked online by Tehran as the US calls on more nations, including China, to join their effort.
Prince William is said to be seething at the looming return of his brother, Prince Harry, along with Meghan and their children to the UK. Foreign editor Hugh Whitfeld has more. And Hugh, is it any clearer why the Sussexes are heading back to England?
There are claims Meghan has a new job based in the UK. Speculation too, they want to be closer to the King as he lives with cancer. The British government has ruled out providing them security. Then there's the hostile London press as Harry was spotted for the first time since the news broke. Here's Europe correspondent Isabel Mullen.
Out in Washington, ahead of his move back to Britain, Harry seems to have won over his home crowd.
Everyone loves Harry. I really like him. I don't know. I think sometimes she has a bit of a hard time in the UK that maybe she doesn't deserve.
I'm not sure about her really, so I love Harry.
We're both in the military, and obviously Harry's got a military background, so it's always good to have him back.
The Sussexes returning any day now, their children enrolled in British schools. But will the tabloids change their minds about Meghan like they did Camilla?
Camilla has sort of shifted from public enemy number one in the mid-1990s to being one of the leading members of the royal family.
7 News understands Prince William is not impressed, at odds with his brother after Harry and Meghan aired their dirty laundry.
Now you potentially have the court of the Sussexes, you know, the Sussexes in exile. It has a very kind of medieval feel to it.
The big question, what will the Sussexes do about security?
This is a private matter. It's a matter for Harry and for Meghan.
Prince Harry's security downgraded when he stepped back from royal duties.
Harry and Meghan could be entitled to taxpayer-funded security just by being here. Their home in California no longer a reason to deny the Sussexes British protection.
So why now?
My feeling is, though, ultimately this is about being closer to the King, because the King is obviously living with cancer.
In London, Isabel Mullen, 7 News.